好，那我们下一场演讲由来自新加坡 IMBA Interactive 的 Sharon 来做分享。那 Sharon 作为 IMBA Interactive 的创办之一，在为游戏创作原创配乐及客制化的音效设计外，也积极地四处参与活动。那企图让更多游戏制作者与学生了解音效在游戏中的重要性。那其所参与的游戏获奖无数，今天则会就他自己的身份来为大家认识游戏音效师与作曲家的工作秘辛。那就让我们掌声欢迎 Sharon。
Hello, thank you for having me. Before I start, right? 我想问一问，这里谁是做 programmer 的？很多人 ，OK。谁是音效音乐的人？嘿，有哎 ，OK。please， 等一下子不要走哦，来找我。然后我很难才能找到你们。还有谁是做美术的 ？OK，Hello。还有 marketing， QA，OK。哦哇 ，OK。You are appreciated, QA 。OK， 我要问你们一个问题，就是 What do you think I do? Any shout out of any questions? Of my questions. What do you think I do? Make music? Yes. Anything else? What do you think I do? 这个是个 game conference. Record voices. Yes, voiceovers. 好，对。But 我今天不会讲 I won't be talking about technical stuff. And I won't be talking about how I compose music or how I record Foley, things like that. Okay, I'll be talking about our day-to-day conversations with our clients. Yeah. And this is something that some game audio people are afraid of. OK， 我们最大的恐惧是，我们的 client 跟我们说 ，We don't want to work with you anymore. Thank you very much. But this is just the worst case scenario. We can prevent this from happening by making sure that our communication is very clear and transparent. So now I'm going to show you a series of questions, a series of conversations that we have with our clients daily. Who is a developer here? 开发者 Okay. I'm not here to offend you, okay? So, disclaimer. So, creative direction. This word. I would like to give you the creative freedom to create what you think is good. It's very good to have this. For the audio person, it's in fact a dream come true because we can design whatever way we want out of our minds. But it's very important to know to put some limitations for yourself. Okay, there's nothing wrong with the client asking us to design freely, okay? But it is the responsibility of the designer or the composer to actually tell the client or try to shape this space. Okay, just like space, okay, it is unlimited. If you're not careful, you might enter a black hole. And then it will be endless. You know, you might open a can of worms yourself if you're not careful. So be prepared to get more information from the client, to get to know their personalities. Why personalities? Let me ask you a question. For the developers, are you developing games because you like games? If it is, hands up. Yeah. So, you develop games because you like games. So, it's natural for the sound person or the composer to ask you what you like. Correct? Yeah. So, like an interview, you want to know the company. And you want to research a little bit about what games they have done before. So yes, thank you for giving me the space, but let's first set some boundaries. So you check out the background of the company, you understand what games they have done before, even going into personal questions like, hey, what sort of music do you listen to? What do you like? And if you realize that you have different styles of working, it doesn't mean that it's wrong. It doesn't mean that it's something to avoid. In fact, you are coming in to understand the client and then understand each culture, exchanging culture, so that you can build a long-term relationship with your developer from the sound perspective and be very transparent. Okay? For those who are working on the developer side, okay, if your sound designer doesn't ask questions, this is a place where I'm giving you a view of maybe you can also ask them questions. What can they do? What can they record the orchestra? Do they have a means to do that, or can they not do that? And lay down very realistic expectations from both ends. And I'm sure a lot of us, when it comes to creativity, we want our ideas to go far. But it's also very important to know that the ideas that we have, sometimes we need to let go, and sometimes we can push for certain things. So it's always this balance of letting go and pushing for certain things. And of course, again, it's the responsibility of the audio person to ask the client, hey, do you have a reference? YouTube, there's tons of game OST. So can I ask for a link, something that you feel that would fit your game? Maybe that game has this music that you feel that, hey, is suitable for this game. Can I have that link? And if they don't have that link, do you straight away go into doing a mock-up for them? Because you don't know what they want. For us, for IMBA Interactive, we don't go straight into doing a demo for people. We'll ask more questions. So questions after questions. We will ask things like, okay, yes, we will do the mock-up, we'll do the demo, but first of all, again, do you have something that you already like in the market? Researching. And if they don't have, again, then you propose. You propose an audio document. You all know GD, game design documents. Who knows what's a game design document? Yeah, most people know. Yeah, so it's a document that states, okay, how the game is going to be like, the levels. Well, audio side, you can also propose an audio design document. You can propose a few concepts of how the game can sound like and work. Again, just like art, sometimes it's not about whether it's right or wrong. It's more about what fits the game and what the developer envisioned the game to be at the end of the day. And of course, in some cases, there are cases whereby we straight away go into demo because we already know the client very well. We know how they work, we know what they expect. So doing a demo in that situation is a lot faster than giving them an audio document because we understand what is the expectation. And after you've done all the research, you talk to them properly and transparency is on the table, then you can move forward with doing the demo, and then you can prevent any time loss. Okay? If you don't do the pre-production, there's a possibility whereby you keep doing the demo and then you don't know what the client wants. And what happens? You create this big space where there's no control in terms of how many concepts you can go, how many revisions you can go. So it's important to lay out all these things. Yeah. So, simple. Okay, this word simple. Is it really simple? Yeah. We hear this a lot of times. I want to have simple music and sounds. But what do you mean by simple? 简单的音效还是简单的音乐？你什么意思？那个简单那两个字。So do you want the sounds fast? When you say simple, do you want me to give you the sounds within one day? Or what do you mean? Do you want me to take it from libraries? I choose the sounds for you and then give it to you straight away. Do you want me to design them with that, like putting a lot of layers, manipulating the sounds? And also, is it because you have a budget to work with when you say simple? What type of game are you working on? What kind of genre of game are you working on? When you say simple, it may mean that, okay, let's say you want a fast job. You want the sounds within a day. Or, okay, not within a day. Actually, we can't do it within a day. It's actually too short of time. A week. Let's say a week. And for the sound person, we want things. We want, like, okay, do you have all the videos of your animations? You have all the environments already drawn. You have art assets for us to take a look so that we can do things very fast for you. These things are all in pre-production. Yeah, and these are things that we will ask if you want a fast job. And when you say simple, is it just one sound for a place? Or is it more complicated? So we will ask for even a game, like, can I get a game from you so that I can take a look at your game and then I can see whether or not the sounds that you want, is it enough? There's a possibility that what they have given you may not be enough for the game. So then, as a sound person, you want to ask for maybe the art asset sheet to track and see, okay, this might need sound, this might not need sound. Sometimes people just don't know because music and sound in games, right, it's just a very unknown subject. People don't understand because it's not taught widely. It's not like you can go to a school and understand things in logic and sequence. A lot of the audio people in the industry learn everything on their own, and they have to ask each person, hey, what are you doing in this area, so that they can understand from their perspective and then design. Yeah, so if you talk about simple, is it simple? Not exactly. Because we need to understand in-depth stuff so that we can make the pipeline simple and give you the product easily. And to illustrate what we really do, there's something that I missed out here, that is the asset sheet. Okay? We start with the asset sheet first because most of the time when developers come on board, right, they already have something that they can track. Your art assets need tracking, correct? Your programming, what do you have to program for? There is always this sheet where you write all your details. And with that foundation, the sound person can actually take that and read it up and then come up with the sound assets. Then that way, yeah, we know how many sounds is needed. We predict in that sense. And then we go into preparing. Like, okay, we ask questions like, okay, your sound, does it need recording? If it's, a game that is like out of the world, it's not like you can just like take from library. You need a lot of like process of designing. Then you need time to record it, conceptualize. Even voice, you need to cast for voice talents. Maybe you want a very special voice where it's not like any voice. So you need to get people in, you need to cast, record some sounds, demos, and then show it to the teammate and see whether or not this fits the game. All these things need a lot of time. Music. Are you recording a musician for real? Or are you composing MIDI inside the computer? It is two different worlds. So after you do all these things and you record, you move on to editing. Okay, you can't just record and then just put it in the game. You still need to cut it up, make it short enough. Maybe after you have done this sound, it's too long now. You need to make it shorter so that it fits the animation. All these things you need to do. Then you finally have the sound asset. Yes, it's still not the final word, okay? You still need to go back into the asset sheet, write the notes. Okay, how is it going to be triggered? Blah, 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 so that your programmers understand. And then you put it inside GitHub or Perforce or Google Drive so that everyone gets to see the sound. And if the team actually uses middleware, great, because then the sound person can actually do a lot more. The sound person can already put in all the sounds inside the middleware, test it out all, and the programmer doesn't have to decide for the sound designer. It lifts a load out of them. And oh yeah, middleware. Middleware, if y'all didn't know what's middleware is a program that bridges the gap between the programmer and the sound person. Okay? The sound person uses the program to determine trigger behaviors inside the game, and the programmer just takes the event and then hook it on each asset. Yeah. So, but even if there's no middleware, it's okay. There's no right and wrong. And with that, after you have tested, you give it to the programmer and you get the game engine on your side and you test the whole game. You see the game with your sounds. And after that, if it doesn't work, you test it and then the sounds doesn't fit. Maybe some sounds doesn't fit this character or something like that. You go through the process again until you get it right. So, if you ask me, is it simple? No, it's not simple. And also, there's always this running question that's in the sound designer, or at least for my team, we always think about this. How can we go the extra mile? You know, when you look at the pipeline that I've just shown you, right? It's a long process of like putting in and then polishing it again and again. And how many times can we go through that pipeline? These are questions that we ask ourselves. Like sometimes, okay, in scenarios whereby a game, right, you have this sound for the game, but you realize that after putting in the game, maybe this sound could be better. You know, you want to change it. But do you change it straight away or do you not change it? First of all, you want to ask, is your teammates or your client already very comfortable with the sound? They're okay with the sound. Or is it really necessary to change it? There's always this, again, when I say there's this pull, this letting go and pushing for something, this is where it comes in. We will ask ourselves, is there time? Do we have enough time? Are they going to publish within a week? If they're going to publish within a week, right, it's not so wise to change like 100 sounds, right? You're going to kill everyone. And audio bugs will appear and everybody is going to go crazy. So you need to gauge according to timeline. And as far as experiments go or revision goes, there is always a limit because I'm sure some developers, all of you know, when you go into production and you go deep into production, right, there will come a place where you feel like changing something is never enough. Something is never good enough. So for audio side, it's also the same. Yeah, and we have to let go, I guess. Doesn't mean that it's not good. It just means that time's up. We just need to publish the game. Yeah, and budget. Hey, I need 20 sounds and 30 seconds of music. How much does it cost? You know, sometimes it looks simple, this question, and then if it feels as though we can just answer, oh, it's like this amount very quickly. But it's not so simple as well. It really depends. Again, just now when I talked a lot about the pipeline, right, the 30 seconds of music, is it a piece of piano like track? If it's a piece of piano track, I can do it straight away inside the computer in my program. Yeah. Yes, it's simple. It's not that difficult. So it won't take up a lot of time. The quotation will be probably not as high as comparing to a 30 seconds orchestra. Right? If it's a 30-second orchestra, you need studio time. Do you have a studio that can contain the whole band? You know? Or do you need to hire an extra studio outside? Do you need to hire an engineer to manage the session? You need to hire a manager to get the orchestra people come on time. Yeah, those things will be in the picture. And when 20 sounds, does the game really need just 20 sounds? What if the game needs 30 sounds? Or 40 sounds? You don't know until you go in depth. You need to understand the game. And that's why we will ask for, can I have your game? Can I take a look at your game design document? Things like that again. Yeah. And do you already have a budget in mind? So some of our friends, they'll tell, I have this budget, can you work with this? Then we will try to find a solution within this budget. Work with your teammates, understand, okay, some limitations here and there, we can take away this, then we can fit into this budget. So it's a lot of thought progress. And after that, okay, now that we have done all our pre-production, teamwork, Okay, we need to get things going, right? So, audio people, you need to understand your game designer. Same goes with the other side, okay? The development team, the game designer. If it's okay for you, try to understand your sound people also. Like, ask them questions. It doesn't always have to be one way. It's always good to be two ways. So you should know the game designer. Why? Because who plays Inside? Who has played Inside? The game Inside? Or Limbo? Who knows Limbo? Okay, yes, okay, thank you, my fellow friend. Okay, there's some games, right, that's very audio driven. Even if it's not audio driven, there would be some things inside that is got to do with audio cues, audio information, okay? Not everything has to be information on art. Imagine your tutorial, every single information is on art. It will be so cluttered, you know. So it can be distributed in audio as well when you give information to your players. And this needs to be decided with the game designer, okay? You can't just come in and then give the sounds and that's it. If you want a good game, you discuss things with your game designer, you ask them, hey, if the player dies here, what happens next? Does the music restart again? But if the game, like in general, a person will die 20 times in 1 hour, which means I'll hear the music's introduction 20 times. Oh gosh, it wouldn't be a good player experience, isn't it? So this sort of discussions need to be discussed with your game designer and then make a conscious decision to not have that music repeat, have it continue, and then you will get a better player experience. Likewise, you know why I asked for a playable build, and even the game scene. When we ask for these things, audio people, of course you need to understand what is the game engine. You need to have a little bit information on how, like in general, a lot of people who uses Unity. Okay, a lot of people. Unreal? Okay. So the audio people needs to understand this. If they don't understand, they should. It would be good if they come in and they try to understand the engine, because then it will help with the programmer, you know. And with that, right, you plan your pre-production and your asset sheet and all that will all matter. Once you have that, right, then you can actually understand the tools inside and you can mix properly inside that game scene. And your programmers, they are so important. If you have to, please treat them for lunch. You know, without them, you can't get the game going. Understand how they program sounds. What is their background in the past when they program sounds? Are they lacking some information about sound? You are the one that will come in and tell them and educate them as well. So that at the end of the day, you wouldn't be the one at last moment telling them over their shoulder, hey, can you make that louder? Can you make that softer? It's going to be crazy because they are trying to get everything going, and then there's this sound person that keeps asking them to do all the small things. So pre-production, getting the programmers to even code tools for you, or find out if there's any plugins that you can use to smoothen the pipeline and help him, you know, offload some things. So in general, you know, a communication pipeline between a developer and a sound designer can be as simple as this if they are both one man, okay, on each side. But it can be as complicated as this, okay, if both sides have 10 men, 20 men, yeah. And you need to respect the communication hierarchy, okay? Be able to understand each teammate and also going through the producer. Same thing for my company. We have sound designers, composers working together. So every sound designer, they will focus on maybe a small part or another part. So as my role, the project manager, I will manage them. I'll get it across to the developer. And then also sometimes talking to the artists, programmers, game designers. There's always that back and forth accountability. And it's important to keep your pipelines clean, manage expectations. Again, I emphasize this. Manage your expectations. Tell your team that, okay, we are a team, okay? The main goal is to get a game polished. All of us are on the same team. talk it out, be prompt, be honest, be kind to one another, respect each other, okay? And after everything is done, feedback. Sometimes we get this. It's quite scary. If the game is almost done and then this pops up, right, and we'll be like, oh my gosh, okay, what now? But I'm here to tell you, calm down, chill. Okay? First of all, you ask questions. Again, you ask, are you listening to the sound alone? Why is it that the client says that this sound doesn't fit? But first of all, you want to reduce, you want to understand where is he listening to the sound? Is he listening to a very noisy place, in an environment where it's very noisy? Is he listening to earpiece, things like that? Where is this game going to be played? Is it on a mobile? Is it on a PC? And tell him, don't be afraid to educate your client. There's nothing wrong with telling them, because again, in general, people don't understand game audio. So we need to help people understand. And you also can tell them things like, okay, you design the sound, it's not supposed to be alone, correct? Hearing it alone is very different from hearing it with everything. So you tell the client that, and then you try to push for, okay, let's listen to the game all together, giving it a fair chance, all the sounds together. And if it still doesn't work, it still doesn't fit the game, then, okay, you revise the sound. It's just part and parcel of creative process. Just like sometimes programmers, I feel your pain. You throw away like the whole architecture of something, and then, it's just part and parcel of game development. And game audio in general, people feel alone. And this is no kidding, really. We sometimes feel alone and nobody understands us. But, yeah, and I wish that there were more people like us. It's hard to learn and get better at what we do if we don't build our own industry. Asia, especially, people are really not in touch with game audio. Many people want to come in, but they don't really know how to come in. There's no bridge. We really need each other, and there is opportunity for everyone. And also pushing for value of audio in the game industry. Especially when the indie scene in Asia is actually rising, the more. Audio is such a powerful tool. And yes, we love our community. If you look at US side and Europe side, right, it's so mature. They are always together, they support each other. There's no hierarchy of like, you don't know this, that kind of thing. There's no such thing. They support each other, they respect each other, and they grow together, old and young, women and men. And yes, Taiwan, you need to start one game audio community. This year we went to GDC. You can see this is the PopCap panel. And there are the old, the young, women and men. Okay? They share their perspectives. There is a morning session every morning where they share about how they do their work. There's no wrong or right. And it's very positive. They hang out, they sing KTV. And there is this worldwide game audio map. And Singapore has just got on it. We've been doing this community thing, audio community thing in Singapore for the past year. And it's been really good. These are some of the events that we've gone through. Microphone 101, where we learn about microphones. Yeah. And we learn together, we progress together in the industry. We recorded some sounds during Chinese New Year. We jam together. Yeah. And please, if you can, I've started something, not for myself, but for the people in Taiwan. Anyone can lead, okay? Any person can go in and share and ask, hey, let's meet up. It doesn't have to be me, okay? And yeah, please, share it, join, talk about things, start a conversation going so that we can have a community together. And in summary, you have a glimpse of what we do for audio people. Production is very important, scales are very important, but communication and direction is the key to get efficiency. It is often overlooked, but it's super important to listen and be able to communicate our ideas effectively and build a strong pipeline, establishing expectations. So with that, I thank you for coming for my talk. If you have questions, please feel free to contact me. Thank you.
好，那我们谢谢Sharon为我们带来上半场演讲。那我们 Q&A 时间会留到最后面再来给大家发问。